Hello and welcome back to another What I Eat in a Week. It's been too long. There's so many fun and tasty ideas in this one, lots of lazy vegan meals, but also quite a few recipes that are more on the experimental side of things. You know, there's something for everyone. On Monday, I had a bowl of toasted muesli for breakfast. For this, I added 1/3 cup of small cut oats to a small skillet, along with a handful of chopped almonds. I brought the heat up to medium-high and let this toast for 2 to 3 minutes, stirring every once in a while. Then I transferred that to my bowl and also added a bunch of other stuff that I could find in my pantry, some small black raisins, some whole wheat cereal, quinoa puffs. My mom has been raving about quinoa puffs. I finally went out and tried them myself. They're okay. They have a very subtle popcorn meets quinoa taste to them. I've been obsessed lately with dusting unsweetened cacao powder over all kinds of breakfasts. Porridges, bowls of fruit, smoothie bowls, you name it. I finished this off with some raspberries and some oat milk. The toasting of the almonds and oats can of course be skipped, but I think it really elevates your average muesli experience. A while ago, someone named Jamie sent me a recipe from an 80s vegan cookbook. This recipe was for some savory pancakes made with nutritional yeast. She also sent me some of her notes on how she likes to adapt the pancakes, so I followed her suggestions, cut the measurements in half to make enough for me. And I did make some slight changes to it though. I just can't help tinkering with any recipe I get. I was in the mood for more crêpe-like pancakes, so that's what I did here. Add all the ingredients to a food processor or blender. Nutritional yeast, flour, baking powder, salt, spices of choice. I went for curry powder and ras el hanout, water, and apple cider vinegar. Blend it up for just a few seconds until it's smooth, and then bring a non-stick skillet greased with a bit of coconut oil to medium heat. Once it's hot, add about 1/2 or 3/4 of a ladle of batter to the pan, swirling the pan around in a circular motion as you do so to ensure the pancakes cover pretty much the entire bottom of the pan. Let them cook for about 2 minutes on each side. If you happen to have a proper crêpe type pan, then definitely use that. I filled my pancakes with avocado, smoked tofu, and hummus sauce. Because I like to be fancy, I also drizzled some hummus sauce over the filled pancakes here, adding some chives as well. As for a dessert snack, I had some of this bar of low sugar white chocolate. It's very good. Then I went on a walk for like an hour. It was freezing cold, so really I just hopped from one sunny spot to the next, trying to catch some warmth. I had a banana when I got back, and then for a simple dinner, I roasted up some sweet potato chunks. I peeled 2 sweet potatoes, cutting them into bite-sized pieces. Meanwhile, the oven was preheating to 200 degrees Celsius. I added a bit of olive oil and salt to the potatoes, mixing that in. Normally, I bake them for 30 to 35 minutes. In the meantime, I made this coconut peanut curry sauce out of some natural peanut butter, 1/2 cup of coconut milk, a tablespoon of tomato puree, some curry powder, chili, salt, and water. You can also add some lemon juice if you wanted to. I actually didn't. Bring the heat up to medium and whisk it until smooth. This stuff is so good. I chopped up some lettuce here, some cucumber, and also had some chai with oat milk. And then I brought everything together, the greens, the roasted potato, and the sauce. I also sprinkled some sunflower seeds on here and ended up scraping out the rest of the sauce with the remaining sweet potato chunks. A crêpe and a half had still been hanging out in my fridge. I warmed them up quickly in my skillet, filled them with vegan cream cheese, some leftover smoked tofu, cherry tomatoes, and some old-looking spinach. Super yummy. They were like soft breakfast tacos. However, this was still way too small of a breakfast for me, so shortly after that I had some unsweetened soy yogurt, to which I added some semi-ground flax seeds, chocolate granola, unsweetened cacao powder, some poppy seeds. Must say it would have been better without the poppy seeds. They tasted weird to me in this. Also some raspberries, and lastly, a bit of rice syrup. And then for lunch, I ate this sesame seed bagel sandwich that you might have already seen in my previous video. It was filled with these hummus tofu nuggets. I'll link to the recipe for that in the description. There was also some spinach in there, some tomato, a mix of vegan cream cheese and sriracha. It was very good. Oh my god, that evening was so exciting because I had a little virtual reunion with my friend Chloe. You might know her from YouTube. I will link her channel down below. She used to live here. She was actually one of the first people that had reached out to me when I moved to Berlin. And we hadn't talked face to face in so long, so this was really nice. For dinner, I was craving a smoothie bowl. I'm guessing because of the savory breakfast. So I made myself one. I made myself a green one though, so it had at least some veggies in it. I blended up the following: about half a frozen zucchini, a frozen banana, a few soft dates, lots of spinach, vegan vanilla protein powder, and a tablespoon of natural peanut butter. Also some soy milk. I finished this off with some whole wheat cereal, some chopped strawberries, a bit more peanut butter.
I would never want to do anything that would get you in trouble. Oh god. Oh boy. No.
Wednesday's breakfast was some crispy raisin toast. Wait, no, actually it was painkillers for my PMS, and then once I could do food again, I had a slice of raisin bread, toasted until crispy, topped with vanilla soy yogurt and strawberries. I love this combo so much. And then I also had this salted caramel protein bar by the brand Rawba, and I kind of was a bit disappointed at first because for some reason I thought it would be covered in chocolate, but it was alright, 6 out of 10. For lunch, I cooked up some rice. In the meantime, I made some super quick and lazy sauce by warming up a heaping tablespoon of this sunflower seed curry mango papaya spread, and a bit of water. My lunch bowl also consisted of some steamed broccoli and spinach, a few of the tofu nuggets, and I also squeezed some lemon over all of this. Artemis and I went on a 2-hour walk that day through Tiergarten. It's this huge city park in the west of Berlin. Artie was so sweet and brought me some banana bread she'd made with chocolate and walnuts. So good. For dinner, I steamed up some more broccoli while listening to 2000s music. And so that was basically the same as lunch, just with a bit of extra vegan chili mayo. And for dessert, I ate the rest of the New Cow healthy vegan chocolate. I made some peanut butter banana porridge on Thursday. So to my pot, I added 1 ripe banana that I'd mashed with a fork, some small cut oats of course, pinch of salt, tablespoon of peanut butter, and some water. I brought this up to a boil, then reduced the heat to medium and let it cook for 6 to 8 minutes while mixing frequently. Then I added the rest of the vanilla soy yogurt I had in my fridge. It was very good. I topped this off with some apple chunks and about half a tablespoon of this salty coconut caramel I found at Edeka. For lunch, I had some whole wheat knäckebrot, as in like really dry, insanely crispy sheets of whole wheat bread, topped with vegan cream cheese. Actually, I think it's supposed to be sour cream. Sorry, yeah, it's sour cream. It's the Dr. Oetker one. Some more of the papaya spread, some cherry tomatoes, some leftover steamed broccoli, and I probably also squeezed some lemon on there. As an afternoon snack, I made a little pudding out of unsweetened apple and pear sauce, a tablespoon of cashew butter, and a teaspoon of vanilla protein powder. You gotta mix it very well until it turns very light in color. And then I sprinkled over some whole wheat cereal, more of the puffed quinoa. For dinner, I made some sweet potato fries and homemade vegan burgers, somewhat following another one of your guys' recipes. First off, I cut the measurements in half, and even that ended up being enough to feed like 6 people. To the biggest pot I own, I added half a cup of quinoa and half a cup of black lentils, because I didn't have any green. I brought this up to a boil and then let this simmer on medium for about 20 minutes until both the quinoa and the lentils were cooked through. In the meantime, I made some baked sweet potato fries, just like on Monday basically, but cutting the sweet potatoes into fry-like shapes this time. And I also added some extra chili flakes. Back to the burgers, cut up some extra things that you might want to add to them. I went for some spring onion, fresh basil, and smoked tofu. Marie had suggested sun-dried tomatoes and parsley as well. Once the quinoa and lentils were soft, I added the oats, plus only a small amount of water since there was still a lot of liquid left in my pot. I let this cook for another 6 to 8 minutes and made sure to stir frequently, to prevent the mix from sticking to the bottom. Then my add-ins went in there, some spell flour, because I didn't have any almond, lots of salt, chili flakes. I was a bit ambitious to think I'd be able to mix everything in this tiny pot, so I transferred it all to a large mixing bowl. I also didn't have any curry paste, but I had miso paste. I also added some white wine vinegar and some more spell flour. I brought my skillet to medium-high with a generous amount of oil because I was worried the mix would stick to the pan, but it fried beautifully. I cooked it for 2 to 3 minutes on each side. They turned out so yummy, definitely a bit soft on the inside still. If you prefer the burgers to be more firm, then adjust the mixture before frying it with some more oats. I ended up having my dinner super late while on a call with Anne-Louise. You might remember her from some older videos. She's the one I gave a pillow to with my face on it. I also snacked on some of this share trail mix here. There's pretzel bites, nuts, seeds, and banana chips in there. Friday's breakfast was another one of those crispy raisin and strawberry toasts, this time with coconut yogurt and a sprinkle of puffed quinoa. Then I tried the other raw bar I got. This one is with peanuts. Now that I didn't expect a full-on protein bar dipped in chocolate, I liked it a lot better. I mean, I could have also just read the packaging in the first place. I warmed up an English muffin and 2 burgers from the night before. Added half an avocado to the bread and lemon juice. Some seasoning, the quinoa patties of course, double stacked, some chili mayo, lettuce, and carrot. I wasn't in the mood for frying burgers all night, but I still had tons of the quinoa mix left, and so I had the brilliant idea to bake it instead, like an oat cake. First off, I added another cup of oats to the mix since it got all slimy overnight in the fridge. I also added some more salt and then poured the mix into an 8-inch casserole dish lined with parchment paper. I baked it at 200 degrees Celsius for 40 to 45 minutes. I let the cake cool for a good 30 minutes before cutting into it. I ended up having some more pieces than shown, alongside some lettuce, cucumber, and hummus. Here I had a smoothie bowl for breakfast. I blended up coconut yogurt, some dates, a bunch of frozen strawberries, leftover avocado, and protein powder. It really was more of a yogurt bowl than anything else, but yeah, delicious nonetheless. Me and my friend Nina went on a walk along the canal that afternoon. We got some hot chocolate and matcha along the way. So many places were sold out of vegan food because Kite's back, but Kokoro still seemed to have some vegan miso ramen soup available. I really want to try and see if I can come up with like a copycat version of this someday. Oh my god, Nina brought me a little tiny branch of one of her plants. Apart from a couple IKEA succulents that just sort of do their own thing, I don't own any plants. Yeah, let's just hope I can keep this one alive. I'll keep you posted, fingers crossed. For my dinner, I chopped up some cherry tomatoes, some cucumber, some smoked tofu. Oh, right, the carrots and water hack. I've been using it. It works. Here we got some lettuce. And then for the dressing, I combined hummus, miso paste, and rice vinegar until smooth. To the salad, I also added some kidney beans, definitely destroying the tumbler aesthetic. I poured the dressing on top. I would recommend. And for dessert, I had an apple, a few dates, and some cashew butter. I tested a recipe for Nutella and oat cookies. I'm very happy with the outcome, so here's what I did. First, I preheated the oven to 180 degrees Celsius and lined a baking sheet with parchment paper. Then to a small saucepan, I added some vegan chocolate hazelnut spread. I used this one by DM. I've had this in my fridge for way too long. It needed to go. Also added a small amount of vegan butter, some coconut sugar, normal sugar works just the same, and unsweetened applesauce. I let this melt together over medium heat for 2 to 3 minutes, stirring every once in a while. In the meantime, I combined all the dry ingredients in a large mixing bowl. Some small cut oats, all-purpose flour, whole wheat flour, salt, baking powder, and unsweetened cacao. I poured in the wet part and then mixed it all until well combined. Then I added some roughly chopped almonds. You could also add chocolate chips, sunflower seeds, dried cherries, whatever you like. So I mixed in the almonds and then divided the dough into 14 cookies using an ice cream scoop, which was kind of unnecessary. Bake them for 10 to 13 minutes. Let them cool for at least 20 minutes before serving. As I was waiting for them to cool, I made some more of that applesauce, cashew butter pudding, added some oats to it this time, raisins, cereal, and sunflower seeds. I did some serious decluttering and organizing that day, something I've been meaning to do since beginning of January. I had boxes everywhere, which is why I ended up eating my lunch on the floor. And it was a classic roasted sweet potato bowl. I had this tortilla left in my fridge. It was completely dry, but still good to eat. So what I did was I held it under running water for a second or two, dampening the top, and then I put it in the hot oven for a bit. I spread the potato with some of the mango curry dip, also added some chopped cherry tomatoes, kidney beans, and lettuce, some cucumber, and the tortilla, which I'd left in the oven for way too long, so it turned into tortilla chips instead, which I wasn't mad about either. Oh, and also can't forget about the chili mayo. For dinner, I inhaled a bowl of spaghetti. I brought a big skillet with a bit of olive oil to medium heat, added some spring onion to it first, letting that cook for 2 to 3 minutes before adding a chopped clove of garlic, some tomato puree, some rice syrup, balsamic vinegar, and I let this cook for another 2 to 3 minutes. Then poured in a can of chopped tomatoes and a bit of water, also a bit of miso paste, and then I let this simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. Meanwhile, I brought a pot with water up to a boil to cook the pasta. I blended up some vegan pizza cheese in my food processor because I wanted to see if it could resemble Parmesan more that way. Anyway, I also blended up the pasta sauce after it'd been simmering, seasoned it to taste, combined the noodles and the sauce, added the cheese to my plate, of course some basil. This was so yummy. And that is it for the week. I hope you enjoyed it. Upon many requests, I am planning on filming a video soon where I try to recreate meals inspired by different countries. If there is a specific recipe or dish you really want me to try, then please leave a comment down below. That'd be super helpful. Yeah, that's it from me. Thanks for being here. Until next time.
I should have told you that I loved you every night. Oh, that's on